Can it?
Hi, I'm Damien, the sledgehammer that smashes down English language barriers. And on this channel, we help you get better at English. In this episode, I'll try and answer the question, is English the hardest language to learn in the world? Also, remember to stay around to the end because I'll reveal the nationalities that have it the hardest when learning English. Okay, let's break it down. I take it you already know of tough and bow and cough and dough. Others may stumble, but not you. On hiccup, thorough, slew and through. Beware of herd, a dreadful word that looks like beard, but sounds like bird. And dead, it's said like bed, not bead. For goodness sake, don't call it deed. Watch out for meat and great and threat. They rhyme with sweet and straight and debt. That's an extract from a famous online poem highlighting the tricky relationship between the spelling and pronunciation of English. If you want to see the full poem, then check out a link below in the description. So why is English like this? So let's have a look at our old friend, the phonemic chart. As you can see, the whole top half of the chart include the vowel sounds of English. 20 to be exact. Well, and this is where the problem comes from, we only have 5 actual letters to represent the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. So how do you squeeze 20 into 5? Well, you do it by creating a whole lot of horrible spelling patterns as demonstrated in the poem I just read. Having this many vowel sounds also cause problems with things like minimal pairs. 2 words which are nearly exactly the same except for one different sound. So, for example, this can create embarrassing problems with words like beach. If you don't do the long E sound, it unfortunately becomes bitch. If you want to see some more examples of these embarrassing minimal pairs, then check out my video up here. English also has some difficult consonant sounds, such as the dreaded the. Finally, there are the horrible silent letters, like Iserland and Knight. Okay, it's not all bad news for English. It is an alphabet after all, so you only have to learn 26 letters. Have a look at some of those other languages like Chinese or Japanese, where it could actually take a lifetime to learn all their characters. And don't get me started with tones, these are the bane of my existence. My. And come on, English does have a lot of recognizable spelling patterns that cover over 80% of the English language. This is why maybe as a child you would have studied something called phonics that helps you with finding out those spelling patterns. Alright, let's move on to grammar. English isn't grammar light either. There's lots of painful things for students to get their heads around. Let's focus on 3 difficult aspects. Phrasal verbs, the article the, and word order. Phrasal verbs are feared by second language learners from all around the world. With good reason too. In English, it can all be a bit random. It's really hard to find a black and white rule that covers all phrasal verbs. Let's have a look at some interesting examples. Turn into means become. Hold up the leg. Put down means making someone feel small. The. Has one small word ever been given so many rules and exceptions? With superlatives, when only one exists. Mentioning someone or something for the second time. Make something definite by adding extra information. With adjectives in some cases. With musical instruments. Locations sometimes. With titles, places, ideas. And when the object is known to everyone. Word order can be confusing as hell. It's where you swap the order of the subject and verb, like in questions, for example. You are thirsty becomes are you thirsty? This is difficult because you only do it with auxiliary verbs. And to make something hard even harder, the rule doesn't apply to indirect questions. For example, can you tell me why English is... Now, it's not all bad news for English and grammar. It does have some easy parts. It's not like French or Spanish, which have lots of conjugation of verb endings, or like German and Russian, where you have to change the end of your nouns to match your subject. So we're quite lucky there. English only has 4 different endings for its verbs. We have fart, farts, farted, and farting. According to one student, English creates a lot more saliva when he or she speaks. And I quote, "When I speak English, I just create so much saliva in my mouth, and I don't know why. It's kind of annoying." Do you have a saliva problem when you speak English? If not, do you have any other weird issues or strange things that you'd like to share about English in the comments below? Alright, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's find out which nationalities have it the hardest or the easiest when learning English. Okay, a lot of whether a language is difficult or easy is connected to your starting point, your first language. For example, if you live in London, it's a lot easier to travel to Paris than it is to Shanghai. The same is true for English. If your first language has a lot of similarities to English, then your life is going to be a lot easier when you start to study it. Okay then, so which languages are similar to English? Pimsleur, the Foreign Service Institute of the Department of State in the USA, rates the languages they teach. They group languages from easiest to hardest for native English speakers to learn. As you are a non-native speaker, we just look at the chart in reverse. A drum roll please, here is the chart. The biggest losers are Arabic, Chinese, Japanese and Korean speakers, as their language is most unlike English. While some of the big winners include French, German, Spanish and Indonesian, as they have a lot of similarities to English with using an alphabet and some similar vocabulary. Here are the rest of the languages. Are you on the list? So what does this mean if you're a learner from Group 4? Well, if you're a student coming from Group 4, it will take you longer to learn a language than a student who comes from Group 1. Now you know why your European and South American friends are doing better in your English class. They have it easy because their languages are like English. So, don't beat yourself up over it. Remember this, everyone can become fluent in a language through practice. It doesn't matter what country you come from, you can do it. So, what's the takeaway? Well, English isn't easy, but also it isn't hard too. Huh? Like all languages, it has its good points and its bad points. You can become fluent in any language. All it takes is time and practice. Focus on the things you can control, like subscribing to my channel. If you do, you'll get great new content every week, helping you become better at English. Before you go, leave a comment about what's hard for you in English. And in the future, you might see a video done by me showing you what to do about it. And remember, start taking your English mask off today. See you later. Remember to sledgehammer that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders, and most importantly, start smashing English language barriers today.